Peace and love, guys. How you doing? It's your girl Sandra, and I'm back with another guitar tutorial. And this one is a continuation from the last video, and I thought that I was just gonna go ahead and jump into the next 3 strings, but I still want to take some time with the top 3 strings, the 6th, 5th, and 4th string, E, A, and D string on the guitars. And I still want to review some of the note names there, and I thought of a great idea. I said, let's start applying major scales, okay, as we recite the note names. So not only are we learning the note names, we're going to be learning a C major scale in 2 different positions. On the 6th string, we're going to start with the root of the C on the 6th string, and then we're going to learn that in 2 different ways to play it, and then we're going to also learn it on the 5th string, okay? We're going to be landing on this 4th string as we play, but we're going to focus on the root C note on the 6th string and the 5th string, okay? Also going to use a metronome so we can play nice and slowly and recite the note names. I also have provided a backing track so that you can practice these scales and apply them to your improvisation practice as you learn the note names, and that's below in the link. And also I'm going to have some charts to my right here so you can follow along. So let's get right to it. I'm so excited. All right, guys, so we're gonna start on the 8th fret, okay? And we're gonna start on the C, on the 8th fret of the E string, the low E string, which is the 6th string, okay? And let's give the metronome 2 beats for each note. We're at 60 beats per minute with the metronome. So here's the scale, and here is the fingering for this particular scale. 1, 2, ready, and we got C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C. There's the octave. Remember that trick in the first video? You skip a string and a fret, and there's the octave. Let's take it backwards, all right? So that's your C right there, right? We have C, B, A, G, F, E, D, and C. All right, let's try it again. Let me hear you do it by yourself. We got C, whole step 2, another whole step 2, a half step 2, whole step, whole step, whole step, another half step. Okay, that's C. Take it backwards. We have C, half step 2, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step 2. I'm really starting to see these note names as I play this. It's really starting to ingrain. So if you play bar chords, you know that this is an E minor, and that's a D minor, and C minor, you know, because you're used to playing these bar chords. So, you know, the root of the bar chord, you know, is also the name of the note. So that really helps when you're doing these scales. You start to see, oh, okay, that's the root of that E minor. So yeah, you know, you can kind of cross-reference the notes that way. All right, so now I'm going to show you a different scale, a C major scale pattern. It's just playing the notes in a different place on the guitar, which is good because we're trying to learn the notes in different places on the guitar, right? That way, you know, we'll have a clear map of what we're going, what we're playing. All right, so I'm going to turn the metronome back on. We've got the metronome back on. We're going to learn the C major scale with a different fingering, starting still on that root note on the 8th fret. we're gonna take it right here. C, whole step to D. We have a whole step to E. And we could play the F half step here, okay, on the 13th fret, but we're gonna follow the chart right here, and we're gonna take it right here. So we're gonna go whole step from D to E, and then we're gonna play the F right here, whole step to G, whole step to A. We have a whole step to B, and half step to C, okay? And just cross-reference that, look at that, C, and that's a C. Let's take it backwards. Here we go. We got C, B, A, G, F, E, D, and back to C. I didn't play that with the right fingering really, but let's try that one more time. You do it by yourself. Here we go. We got C, whole step 2, whole step 2, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step. Take it backwards. We have C to B, half step, whole step A to G. We have F, whole step to E, whole step down to D, and then a whole step down to C. So now we're gonna learn the C major scale on the 5th string with the C on the root on the 5th string right here on the 3rd fret and the 5th string. We're gonna recite the note names nice and slowly and really engrave this fretboard, the note names, into our brain so that we can really, you know, get a better connection with the guitar when we're soloing, improvising, and all that good stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and put the metronome back on. We don't really have to play much faster because the goal here is to memorize the note names, all right? So here we are. Let's recite them nice and slowly. We have C, D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, and a half step to C. Nice. Now take it backwards. We have C, half step to B, whole step to A, whole step to G, whole step to F, half step to E, whole step to D, and another whole step back to C. Now I was not guessing right there. I've been practicing this, so I'm really starting to see, like I play, you know, I play a lot of D minor chords or D minor 9 chords. I know that that's a D, my D root note. So all of that knowledge of the chord progressions that you play is also going to start to come into play because, you know, if you know the notes in your A chord right here, you know that that's an A. So then you know that, you know, whole step from A is a B and then that's C. It just starts to come together in so many ways. You know, this is an E minor chord and that's an E. You know, so it all starts to really come together. All right, so let's try that again. Nice and slow. Let's recite the note names. Here we go. We're starting on the 5th string of the 3rd fret, which is a C note, our root. Okay, here we go. We got C, whole step to D, another whole step to E, half step to F, a whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, and a half step to C. Look at that. You know that rule that we learned in the first video. You skip a string and a fret and you get the octave. That rule only applies to the 6th string and the 5th string. Because you do that here and you don't get the octave. There's a different rule. And I guess I'll show that rule to you right now. So how do you find an octave on the other strings? From the 4th string right here, the way to find the octave is to skip 2 frets and a string. So you skip 2 frets and a string. And you get the octave. So right there, that's an F. So that's an F, that's an F, and that's an F. that's really helpful to know. Those are like, how do you say it? Like landmarks, you know what I mean? That's how you can think of them. They're landmarks. You know that those are the notes, and that's where the octave is, so you kind of know what's around it. Until you know, and that's what we're working on, guys, okay? So, again, how do you find the octave on the 4th string? And the same works for the 3rd string. You skip 2 frets and a string, and you get the octave. Can you see that? So right here is a B flat, okay? Because look, see that? This is a B flat. Skip 1 string and a fret on the 5th string. That's how you find the octave there, right? But if you want to find the octave from the 4th string, you have to skip 2 frets in a string, okay? Okay, guys, so for this next scale pattern that we're going to learn, same notes, different fingering position. Also, we're going to be landing on the B and the C on the 3rd string, okay? It's what it is. The scale, you know, calls for us to play those notes on that string. So I know we're really supposed to be only focusing on these top 3 strings, but we're gonna get these 2 strings in here, okay? With the scale pattern, I have the metronome going at 60 beats per minute. Here we go, we got C. Whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C. All right? Nice. Look at that, C. That's the octave. So let's take it back. We got C, half step down to B, take it to A, G, whole step down to F, we got E, whole step down to E, D, and back to C. All right? All right, here we go. You're gonna try to recite the note names by yourself. 1, 2, ready. We got C, whole step, 2, another whole step, a half step, a whole step, another whole step, another whole step, and a half step. Back to C, the octave, right? All right, taking it back right now. Here we go. We got C, half step to B, whole step to A, whole step to G, whole step to F, half step to E, whole step to D, another whole step. All right, great job, great job. So now I have a guitar backing track, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of improvisation, playing on top of it. I think that's the other half of learning the notes on your fretboard. You can start to connect the notes and play melodic melodies more easily because you understand the scale, and you can learn how to become creative and playful with the notes on the scale. Also, we just learned 2 different fingerings for the major scale, with the root note on the 6th string and the root note on the 5th string. So I'm just going to demonstrate how you can practice with this backing track and just have fun with it and try to be super creative. And that's just a great way to study your major scale and really connect with the notes that you're playing after practicing the note names as you navigate the notes. So now we're going to try a little improvisation, starting on the C string, on the 5th string of the 3rd fret. Here we go. Actually added a blue note in there that wasn't supposed to be there, but you can do that if you hear it. Have fun with this as you practice the major scale with the root notes on both of those strings, and we'll go over the D major scale in the next video. Okay, so we're gonna get to these next 3 strings. I think it's a great idea to take it nice and slow before we really move on to the next 3 strings. I think that we'll get a better understanding, both of us together, taking it nice and slow, and applying scales to these notes. That way it's gonna really open up a lot of things. It's gonna start to connect. So best of luck to you on your guitar practice, and I'll see you real soon. Peace. Peace, y'all. Peace. Thanks for hanging out with me. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you leave any comments if you have any feedback for me regarding this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. Make sure you check out some of the other videos, and I'll see you soon.